improved their bid for Jeremy Doku. Man City are advancing in talks and want the deal done this week. And now, guys, we are able to tell you that Jeremy Doku to Manchester City is here we go. Agreement in place between the two clubs, Manchester City and Rennes. Agreement also between Man City and the player since a long time. This is not new. Jeremy Doku said yes to Man City, but Man City agreed with Rennes after 20 days of negotiation, because the exclusive news here on the channel of Doku as a target for Man City was at the beginning of August, on the 1st of August. So 20 days of negotiations, but now the deal is done. 60 million euros package, not 65. 60 million euros, and also important to say that this deal has very good payment terms. So Man City will not pay the largest part of the fee this summer. Man City will pay the main part of the fee in many years, not just this summer.
Good breakdown there from Fabrizio Romano. Doku to Man City will complete. The agreements are all there. And this is a very talented player. Let's get this right. A very talented player indeed. And City needed something. They need somebody of real star quality to replace Riyad Mahrez. And they have done that deal. Laporta's gone. Guardiola's come in. You've had Mahrez leave, Doku has come in. What's going to happen around the attacking midfielder to replace that quality of Ilkay Gundogan? We don't know yet. It was meant to be Paqueta, but we know that deal is off as of right now because of the investigations around his betting. But this is a great piece of business for Man City, one I think their fans can be infused by, proud of, and excited about moving forward. As ever, I want your opinions. By the way, smash like buttons, subscribe, and make sure you are turning on those bell notifications for the Football Terrace as well. More to come from Fabrizio on this show. Many, many updates, including an update on Gabriel at Arsenal. And I want to get people's take on this because I do feel like there's some bias again going on towards Arsenal, which doesn't happen to every other top club. But there's a story that's circulating today. Now, this is very, very interesting indeed. A lot of people want Arsenal to go out and sign a bagsman. Usherman, as an example. Some want Vlahovic. But reports are now starting to come in that Brighton striker Evan Ferguson, valued at £100 million, is on the radar for Arsenal next summer transfer window. Now, I know some gooners will say, that's not good. It's too late. It's too late. We need it now. We need it now. We need it now. And I understand that logic, and I understand and I comprehend where you are coming from. Where I disagree with a lot of Arsenal fans is that Mikel Arteta's business at the club has been bad. I think the majority of his marquee signings, big money signings, have so far been a success. The only one that you'd have a big question mark over, because you can't judge Kai Havertz yet, in my opinion. He had 2 games. By the way, you've won them both. Is Fabio Vieira. Fairly expensive, hasn't really done too much for the club yet, but let's watch what he does over the course of his second season. All the other players they mentioned, the Cedrics, Lokongas, are either cheap stopgaps or young players that haven't quite come to fruition, but you don't live and die by those signings. So when I look at this, I look at it from the lens of, if Ferguson is the guy that Mikel Arteta sees as the future leading number 9, well, you're better off waiting a year until he's attainable. Yes, very expensive, but attainable, as opposed to bringing somebody in who is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th choice, just because the fans want it now. Yes, a football club has to try and win every season, but you also have to have some medium to long-term planning. Think about Man City when it comes to Erling Haaland. If they'd have missed out on Kane, panicked, and just bought somebody else, they wouldn't have the best finisher in the world right now at their football club, because they'd have bought somebody else and there may not have been the room for him. But they waited. They had patience. That patience, of course, paid off last year with the most historic season in their club's history and the second most historic season in the history of English football. So I do think here patience is a virtue. However, Gooners, what do you think? Let me know now in the comment section below. Now, staying with Arsenal, I want to go to Fabrizio Romano here. Back to Fabrizio here in relation to the Gabriel news. He could be leaving Arsenal. Let's take a little listen to what Fabs has got to say.
Gabriel Magalhães, Arsenal centre-back. He didn't start against Crystal Palace, but he entered in the second half and was very good as always. He's a leader, he's an important player in the dressing room, on the pitch, so it's an important player for Arsenal. And so we had rumours about Al Ittihad being in London trying to convince Arsenal and the player. What I can tell you is that despite all these rumours and interest from Saudi, the idea at Arsenal is very clear. My sources told me, no way. Arsenal have no intention to sell Gabriel Magalhães, no intention to negotiate before the timber injury. Imagine now, with timber injury, to let Gabriel Magalhães go with 10 days left on a transfer window would be absolutely crazy. So,
exactly. Exactly. Let's put rivals to the side for a moment, because rivals will always try and make a club look bad as a general rule. And I get it. I understand the tribalism. We don't need to debate it. You get that. You're the terrorist community. You're educated. Why are Arsenal fans panicking so much? I'm not too sure how else to construct that sentence. Panic. Why is Gabriel not playing? Well, there's got to be a problem. The manager don't rate him. We're going to be selling him. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Man, maybe he's not quite up to full fitness yet. And I know people say, well, why is he on the bench if he can't play 90 minutes? Because it's you need, build up some minutes. Maybe he's okay to come on and do what he did yesterday in the dying moments of a game as he's building his fitness back up. Maybe the manager up against two lesser teams is trying out a few different systems and ways to plug holes. Okay, so why is Partey playing at right back? I've seen Caicedo play at right back for Brighton. Everybody lauded it as an example. We've seen this before at other clubs. Other top clubs have done this, and nobody cares. When it comes to Arsenal, there's panic. Gabriel, it must be selling Gabriel. I always knew he was a bum. The manager don't rate him. He's not being sold. There you have it in black and white. We also see Pep Guardiola. He's one of the greatest managers ever, Fergie. And I use them as examples, not to compare them to Arteta, but winners. So we're looking at the actions of a winner. How often have we seen some of the best players in those teams not start games, not start seasons, spend a bit of time on the bench, new ideas coming in? Sometimes those new ideas work, sometimes they don't. Arsenal fans, I genuinely mean this. And this doesn't mean I'll stop the opinions being aired on the terrace because we're not an echo chamber. But relax. You're 6-6. Things look good. You got gears to go up. Maybe even a few more players to come in this window. I do think you guys have got to relax, but let me know what you think and feel. Now, speaking of being relaxed, Fabrizio gave us another update this morning where he says Inter have agreed all details with Benjamin Pavard. The deal with Bayern yesterday, and now hope for the green light to arrive today. It's another player Man United are missing out on because we can't get rid of Maguire. We missed out on Kim. We're missing out on Pavard. We're stalling on Gravenberch. We're stalling on Amrabat because we can't get rid of more midfield players. And I was someone that was very infused at the start of our window. And I was happy with the business we were doing, probably barring Mount. I believe by now Højlund would have been in the first team. I believe by now that Amrabat would have been here. I thought we'd get rid of more dead wood. And it's another summer, just like LVG suffered with, just like Jose suffered with, where we're letting a manager down after progression, where we're not getting rid of the players he wants out. We're not signing the players quick enough that he wants in. And it's another stuttering start to the beginning of a campaign. And it's interesting that the best seasons those previous two managers had came after good summers. Good, solid summers, getting a manager what he wants. And it's interesting how the seasons where they start to crumble come after the summers where they don't get what they want, or they don't get to remove people out of the football club. So interesting. So interesting indeed to me personally. But look, I know not everybody is a fan of Pavard, so some people will think, well, it's a good job we missed out on him. I believe we've got to give this manager what he wants. I believe when we cut corners and when we go for alternatives, that's when Manchester United end up in dire situations. I know some will say, well, he bought Anthony. Anthony hasn't hit the ground running yet. Managers can make mistakes. Again, the greatest managers of all time have bought duds and wasted big money on duds. That doesn't mean you suddenly go, right, just not trust them ever again when it comes to a signing. That's a weird notion to have. But Man United fans, let me know how you feel. Now, there's another done deal today at Chelsea. And this comes from Fabrizio. He says he understands that Petrovic will sign on Wednesday as a new Chelsea player on a 7-year contract. Told it will include an option of 1 more year. That's for $17.5 million. I think he has there. I've never seen that stuff done in dollars before. I suppose it's because they're buying him from the New England Revolution to be a new backup goalkeeper. So there was talks of maybe Costa coming in. And now that they've bought this man plus Sanchez, I don't think Costa will be coming in this summer at least. But it's another new signing, more money invested again by Todd Bowley and his crew. And you can expect at least 1 more player. Maybe even 2. They're looking at a striker and they're looking at someone on that left, that right-hand side of the attack as well. Kudus is still available. Brennan Johnson is still being looked at. Balogun, personal terms reportedly being agreed. We're talking about that a little bit more later on. But Chelsea, let us know your reaction to this new goalkeeper in the comment sections below. Until next time, my people, listen, hit the like and share buttons. 3:30, straight facts. Hussam, Lee Gunner together. This is a great triple threat show. Very, very excited about it. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.